Hi, Miguel here, back with another Naruto vlog. Today we're doing Volume 8, Life and Death Battles, and that title alone should kind of give you an idea of what's coming. So we pick up right at the end of the second portion of the Chunin exam, in which we find out what the scrolls actually do. So we saw in the previous volume that if you open the scrolls prematurely, whoever does so gets knocked unconscious for the remainder of the exam. Well, it turns out that when you open the scroll, you summon a Chunin to personally congratulate you for completing the exam. In Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura's case, when they open the scroll, they actually summon Master Iruka, who I think I have been horribly mispronouncing his name for the past couple of episodes. But anyway, they summon Master Iruka, who personally congratulates them, who's very proud of them. He actually, it turns out that he actually manipulated this to his advantage, Iruka, in order to say, like, if they fail, I want to be the one who tells them that they failed. But thankfully, they did not fail this portion of the exam. It turns out that if you open the scroll prematurely, you summon the Chunin anyway, whose instructions are, if you get summoned prematurely, knock him out. Which is, it's imagery that's a lot funnier in my mind. I kind of pictured the scroll doing some sort of, like, ninja art that, like, causes them to go unconscious for the next 5 days or something. But it turns out it just summons a Chunin who just, you know, bam, knocks him out. That's a lot funnier to imagine. But anyway, so 7 teams have actually passed, which means 21 candidates for the Chunin exam. And apparently that's still too many. By the way, I should probably run through these candidates. We have, of course, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. We have Rock Lee, Tenten, and Neji, who is apparently related to Hinata in some form. And speaking of Hinata, she, Kiba, and Shino have all made it up to this next round. We see Shikamaru, Choji, and Ino have made it up to the next round. Gaara, Kenkura, and Temari, the people from the Sand Village. Kabuto and his crew, who are all working for Orochimaru, who, by the way, has infiltrated this part of the exam as well as one of the Sound Ninja. I still have no idea how they managed to make it through this portion of the exam, considering Sasuke basically annihilated both arms of one of their team members, and he actually plays a role in this. So we have 7 teams that passed and 21 candidates, and apparently that's still too much, so they have to hold preliminaries before the third portion of the exam actually begins. And we learn we learn something very interesting about these exams, and also very scary. So it turns out that the Chunin exams are not only meant to determine who gets to attain the rank of Chunin, the rank of Journeyman, right? It not only determines who gets to do that, it's also because there are people from each village coming to this one place to take the Chunin exams together. It's also a way for the various nations to demonstrate their strength and determine which one has the strongest ninja faction, if that makes any sense. So it's basically a proxy war. In previous years, apparently, the nations have been at war with each other. They've been, you know, struggling to... they've been fighting over limited resources, but this is a way for them to say, hey, let's not fight, let's leave the fighting to our... To our new ninja, and whoever wins can be classified as the strongest ninja clan, and you don't want to mess with them, and people who want tasks done for them are going to go to that strongest ninja clan because they're more capable of handling those tasks, and whoever doesn't have that strongest ninja clan, well, they're not going to get as much work as, you know, the strongest one, which is, like, when you think about it, really scary, because these are like 12, 13-year-olds, you know? I've been told that Naruto is 12. I'm assuming that everyone else is of a similar age, if not a little bit older, maybe even a little bit younger, I don't know. But, like, you are putting the politics of your nations in the hands of these youngsters. And not only that, not only are you not basing your politics on, like, actual, due process of law or something. You're basically making them fight to the death over it, which is honestly kind of a terrifying system, all things considered. But it kind of makes sense in the world that it was placed in, where the ninja are basically where the ninja are basically the Jedi, where they have such stringent rules, where they go on all these missions. It makes sense in that context, but it's also very terrifying. The Lord Hokage, when he explained this to everyone was like, this is one gripe that I have about the series so far. When the Hokage explains this to all the incoming ninja, they're like, what? I didn't know about this. This is a lot of pressure to put on me. And I'm like, yeah, I feel like sooner or later someone would have told you. And I get it, they're ninja. And the world is a ninja world. They keep their secrets, and anyone who spills a secret, or, anyone who accidentally learns a secret, they're probably going to be taken care of as soon as possible. That makes sense. There are obviously going to be cover-ups. But I feel like a secret this big, known to a large amount of people, who are trying to keep that secret from a specific amount of people, I feel like somewhere along the line, that secret would have slipped. Somewhere along the line, it would have slipped through the cracks. The youngsters would have had their suspicions, or the people who aren't supposed to know about it would have their suspicions. I feel like there are too many secrets that are only meant for a certain group of people, but that group of people is too large to account for everybody, which I feel like realistically would make that secret very difficult to keep. We saw that with the nine-tailed fox thing. Apparently only Naruto, only the kids aren't supposed to know about it, but I feel like sooner or later a parent would have said, hey, that kid? Nine-tailed fox. Sooner or later that would have slipped through the cracks somewhere. Someone would have felt the need to divulge that secret to the kids, and I feel like this secret is the same way. Like, sooner or later someone would have said, hey, while you're preparing for this exam, be aware that this is more than just an exam to attain the rank of Chunin. This is also politics, I feel like that's too big of a secret to be kept. It's just, to me, it's unrealistic, and it kind of takes me out of a story. But you know what? That's just a minor gripe. I can kind of deal with it. So the third portion of the exam is basically one-on-one. We're no longer doing the team thing, by the way. We're now being scored individually. So it's a one-on-one fight. No holds barred. You can kill the other person if you want to. But, like, the referee some guy named Hayate, if I recall correctly, he can step in, and Hayate's funny. He's a very sickly guy. So he's very, sure, yeah, I'm okay. He's that kind of guy. It's funny. It's really funny to watch him. But anyway, he can step in at any time to stop the fight if he feels that, it's not going well. So, right off the bat, we notice that Sasuke is not doing well. The curse that Orochimaru placed on him. And by the way, Orochimaru has also infiltrated this in disguise as one of the Sound Ninja. Sasuke's curse basically worsens every time he uses his chakra. So if he uses his chakra too much, and he is on the verge of allowing it to take control of him, if he uses his chakra too much, it will take effect completely. And Orochimaru was counting on that. So Sasuke actually ends up going against... He ends up going against one of Kabuto's guys first. Kabuto himself drops out of the competition. This is apparently the same spot where he drops out of a competition every year. But one of his teammates goes up against Sasuke and attempts to... He has this power where he can actually drain you of your chakra, which forces Sasuke to utilize some of his moves in order to take him down, which in turn uses up his chakra, which in turn, causes the curse to spread. But Sasuke's clever. It turns out that in his previous fight with Rock Lee, when Rock Lee utilized the Lotus technique, Sasuke used the Sharingan Eye to memorize that, and he mimics that technique, the Lotus technique only utilizes taijutsu, which means that he doesn't have to tap into his chakra in order to use it. So Sasuke uses that to defeat his opponent. But before it can get any worse, Kakashi... well, first of all, Hayate stops the fight, declares Sasuke the clear winner. And Kakashi takes Sasuke, and he's like, we have to seal this curse away. And he utilizes this weird, like, ritual sort of thing to really seal the curse in. And he says, like, this seal is going to work, even if you tap into your chakra, but you have to will it to work. You have to want it to work. If you give in to the temptation to not to let the curse spread, then the seal might break. And Orochimaru might actually shows up, and he says, like, he's going to give in. He's the type of person who's going to give in. He is on a mission to avenge this one person, to avenge his clan, right? To kill his older brother. And that means he's going to tap into this sooner or later. And apparently Kakashi and Orochimaru, it seems like they have a history. Orochimaru seems to have this power that allows him to show you how you're going to die. And it's pretty terrifying. It's just an intimidation tactic. It doesn't really have any, like... apparently it doesn't have some strategic value. I can think of a couple. But he actually shows Kakashi how he was going to die. And Kakashi's like, oh my gosh, did I miss something? And it's very... It always bothers me when Kakashi is intimidated. Because that means that the threat is very real. But anyway, beside the point. So that happens. Next we see, I believe it was Choji, and not Choji, sorry, Shino. Shino and one of the, I probably, gosh, I forgot what it was already. No, it was Kankuro and one of the Sound Ninja guys. And Kankuro actually, he actually utilizes his double, his clone thing, to trick the Sound Ninja. Apparently the Sound Ninja has the ability to manipulate his limbs to contort them into ways that really should not be a thing, except he's also able to separate them or something like that. He's able to wrap himself around Kankuro and basically snap his neck. Or so it seemed, because Kankuro was actually using his double to make it seem like he was losing, while he hid in the sandbag and used that as a surprise attack against his opponent, which was interesting. It's interesting to see how Kankuro can utilize his double in order to attack his opponent. I'm curious to see how that's going to play into the larger story, if Kankuro is ever going to face off against our heroes. I'm really grateful to this arc for showing me, the extent to which these powers can be used. As mentioned before, we see Shino go up against another one of the Sound Ninja. This is the one who, by the way, Sasuke annihilated both his arms. But it turns out that he is capable of using both of his arms. But Shino, it turns out, has this really creepy thing in which he comes from a clan that has an affinity with bugs, a sort of beetle sort of thing. So when he was born, he gives his body up to the beetles. So the beetles are allowed to use his body as a nest to tap into their chakra and, utilize it as their home. But in return, the beetles serve Shino. Whenever he tells them to do something, they will do it for him. And so Shino uses that in some very creative ways. He says, like, my beetles have surrounded you. If you attempt to attack me from the front, my beetles will take you from behind. If you attempt to attack my beetles, I'll take you from behind. You don't stand a chance. He utilizes this to his advantage. The beetles actually climb up his opponent's arm and block his chakra flow or something like that. So when he actually tries to utilize his move, his arms explode. I don't know what it is with this series and making people lose both their arms. I've been going at it for a while now. But we get to the good part, in which Sakura is actually facing off against her rival, Ino. I do kind of wish we had gotten a little more time to get to know the rivalry between Sakura and Ino. It's a very good rivalry, I'll give it that. I just wish there was more time to establish them as rivals before their confrontation here. We do get to see a little bit of flashback, in which we see how Sakura and Ino treated each other in the past when they were kids. And it's very nice. I'll give it that they were used to be friends, but their rivalry over Sasuke caused them to drift apart, and now they're bitter rivals for Sasuke's hand. This is another thing. Like, Sakura is taking such big leaps in character these past couple volumes. I'm very proud of her. And Ino is like, she's catching up at this point. She's cut off her hair. They've made a vow, like, I'm going to wear my ninja headband as like an actual headband to keep my hair back until the day when I can say I'm going to tie it around my forehead. I'm going to be an actual ninja, and that is the day when I can stand up to you and face you and sit and basically take you down. And Sakura and Ino both decide, okay, today is that day, and they both tie their headbands around their foreheads, and it's like, yes. It's so gratifying seeing these things come to light. That said, I wish we had established this earlier. I wish we had established this rivalry between them, this vow that they're not going to wear their headbands over their foreheads until they do such and such thing. And I just feel like this is a lot to take in one particular part of the volume. I kind of wish a rivalry was established earlier. I kind of wish we'd seen it progress. I kind of wish we'd known about the significance of wearing your headband over your forehead beforehand. That way we would have known a lot more about... I would have felt a lot more, content with Sakura and Ino's rivalry. But that is where the volume ends. We don't actually see how the battle ends. I'm sure that's going to be ended in the next volume. So, this was a good one. This was a good one. I'm very hesitant to see how... whenever I see a tournament arc, I'm very hesitant to see how it goes, because I'm not sure what it seems like a writing tool for a lot of writers to utilize to showcase the abilities and the interactions between their characters that could be utilized in other interactions. But you know what? I'm digging it. I'm okay with it. I like seeing these different abilities take shape on the battlefield. I like seeing particularly Ino's little her possession thing, her possession jutsu, which I like how they talked about, like, oh, you should only utilize this in like surreptitious moments where you're actually trying to spy on someone or in coordination with your other teammates. It doesn't work one-on-one because your opponent is constantly moving around. You have to keep them in a straight line in order for this to work. I like seeing how these different techniques are applied in different situations. That said, this was a decent volume. I liked it. I'm eager to see more, and I will see you for volume 9.